Hello and welcome. This is the Paul Ryder Tapes. I'm Angela Smith. I'm the ex-wife of Paul, founding member and bassist with, of course, the legends Happy Mondays. Today we've got a very special bonus episode featuring everyone's favourites. They really have stolen the series. Of course, it's the rock and roll mums. That's Paul and Shaun's mum, Linda, and Monday's drummer, Gaz Whelan's mum, Sandra. They've been best friends for nearly 40 years since the early days of the band. Linda was married to the boys' dad, Derek, and Sandra was married to Ken. And they both sadly lost their husbands within the last few years. Okay, can start off by telling me about when you very first met.
Well, it was when the boys first. Ken was working away, and Derek was away with the lads. And then that night they all had a fight in your house, didn't they?
Oh, they were always fighting. I hit Shaun on the head with his snooker cue.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
right.
we were all fighting. And the minibus came to pick them all up. And they were all arguing in that spare back bedroom that used to be Gary's. And I couldn't separate them, so I just got the snooker cue and hit Shaun on the head. It separated them, it worked. You asked Shaun about that.
Yeah. So Ken was working away. Derek was away with the lads. And I'd met you a couple of times.
At concerts and that, hadn't we?
Yeah.
No, it was before the concerts.
It was before the
It's a long
concerts,
time. Yeah, we've been friends
So-
a long time.
Well, it's over 30 years.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So you said to me, we had Jacob and Amelia then.
Of course,
So
they were
I
only
couldn't come to
babies.
you. They
Yeah.
were only little.
Yeah.
So she said, well, I'll come to you one night.
Yeah.
So that's how it started. But it wasn't the same night every week. It started off on a Friday.
It used to be Friday for a few years, wasn't it? She led me astray, you see.
No,
Ken
I
was
didn't.
away and Derek was working. Yes, you did. So we used to come down and you used to say to me, have a drink, what is it you like?
Yeah,
Because you'd have the drink that you liked.
yeah.
And and it was like every Friday, wasn't it? It was
Then
lovely. It helped us both. It was good, wasn't it?
And
we
then
were
it
working
moved.
then,
Then
weren't we?
Yeah, we worked. And then it was Wednesday then, wasn't it?
Changed
Then
to
it got
Wednesday.
to the stage where Ken stopped working away and then Derek stopped being away. So she still came down and we'd be in the kitchen and then she'd say, I'll just go in there for 5 minutes with Derek.
Yeah.
And then it turned into a massive big debate with a big what he discussed and she discussed, and I'd go in and say, you're supposed to be here to see me, not having a confrontation with Derek. So
I know. Well, he wasn't well at the time. I used to go in and sit with him and talk about football and...
No, you liked arguing.
Oh, I never argued with Derek. I argued
Yes,
with you.
No,
Never argued with Derek.
You like discussing.
We used to discuss things, me and Derek,
Yeah, discuss
lovely.
things, putting the world
lovely.
right.
Yes, of course. It was nice, that one.
Yeah.
How old were we then? Bloody hell. Well, what year did the lads start? You know.
89.
Was it 89, 90?
No, it was before 89.
No, it's longer than that.
It was 85.
Because Gary was at school, if you remember, and the others weren't, and he was only about 15 when he joined them.
Yeah.
Wanted to be a footballer up to then. I don't know what went wrong, but anyhow, there we go.
Yeah, because I told her before about PD wanting to be the drummer and they already had one.
That's right, yeah. Hey, me and Linda could write a book about these tours, couldn't we?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, hey.
Okay, well, tell me.
No, we can't say anything now. It's all secret.
Oh, do you remember
That was
Birmingham?
on Friday nights. Stays on
Yeah,
Friday
but
nights.
do you remember Birmingham?
Oh.
Oh, we nearly died. Literally. We decided we were in this hotel and we could see the arena over there and we were here. And there was this great big hedge and we were going to have to walk all the way round.
Yeah.
So we decided we'd climb this hedge.
Well, you know, we can't do anything. I mean, I'm going back a long time, but we weren't very athletic then.
No,
was
but
really?
we were a lot more agile.
Oh, yeah.
So we're climbing the hedge and we got on top with our legs over each side when we realised if we'd have dropped, we'd have been right inside a dam. It
Yeah.
was a
Oh,
massive,
stupid.
big lake.
We were stupid, being clever, taking a shortcut. one
Shortcut,
way.
yeah. So
Yeah,
we had to
stupid.
get our leg over quick and get back down.
Oh, you did, definitely. Yeah.
And get back down and walk round. But by the time we'd got to the arena, we were covered in mud,
Oh,
weren't
should have
we?
seen the state of us.
Oh,
And we'd gone dead poor. We thought we were posh. We couldn't be posh. We tried, but we did try. But oh, should have seen the state of us. Yeah.
so we were there,
Oh.
and then we were watching the gig at the arena, and then all of a sudden I said to you, "Oh, it's raining in,"
Yeah.
and it wasn't raining in. It was something very nasty.
What?
Well, we were down below, and it's somebody up above. Couldn't be bothered going to the
Couldn't
toilet.
go to the toilet.
Oh, we had to get out of the way quick, didn't we?
Yeah. And you know Kingo, don't you?
The hairdresser.
At Manchester Arena, he was at the back of me, and he was that exact. He threw his pint, and who did it end up on? Wouldn't end up on me. I was drenched. Good job, it was only Kingo.
Do you remember at GMX though, when we were on the stage and it started moving?
Oh yeah.
That was frightening.
Do you remember the very first gig that you went to?
What was the first one you went to?
I think of the GMX. I think.
Yeah, well, I told you I was sneaked in.
Yeah, I think it was
To,
the GMX.
Was it the Free Trade Hall? Yeah, it smuggled me in.
Yeah, I went to Free Trade Hall, but I don't think I was smuggled in.
No,
No, I
it was
wasn't
before
smuggled in.
GMX. It was before
Was
GMX.
it?
Yeah.
Ah, right.
Because Shaun had this pink Lacoste t-shirt with a collar on that he had me drying it because he wanted to wear it that night, and he took it damp, and if he didn't, I could have took it dry, but I couldn't let him know I was going.
Yeah, they were funny, weren't they, about that? Well, I don't know why they were funny. No, perhaps it was ashamed of
But
us.
do you remember PD? He'd never let his mum and dad
It's a
go to the
shame.
gig.
You'd lovely.
And they were in a hotel in Piccadilly, I forget where they played. And he shouted, "Gaz, Paul, come to the window here. Is that me dad?" Now, don't forget, PD's dad was very high up in the police force.
Oh, yeah, the superintendent, wasn't
Yeah. And he said his dad was buying a ticket off a ticket tout. But they were looking, he didn't know. And they just happened to look out of the window of this hotel. And we saw his dad buying a ticket off a ticket tout.
Yeah. Well, you know, Angela, which you probably aren't aware of, they all went to school, they all went to Wardley, didn't they?
Apart from my two.
Paul and Shaun, they went to Ambrose Barrow. They all went to Wardley, all the kids, you know. Well, even Bez was at Wardley.
Yeah.
I mean, they were all a lot older than Gary, but I don't know, did he come to be the drummer there? Because
The
Gary,
drummer. Because Beverly,
he was a lot younger than them.
Beverly, Denise's sister, was in Gary's class. And she said, "I know a lad who's just learning the drums.
Because up to then he was going to be a professional footballer.
I know a lad who's learning the drums." And Shaun said, "Well, get him to come round."
Yeah.
And he did.
Because he was daft like them, you see.
So what did you think, Sandra, when Gaz said he was joining the band?
Well, he was driving me mad at the moment, at the time anyhow. And I knew he was mad on music, he really was mad on music. And he'd had guitar lessons and everything and all that, but then he soon got fed up because he wanted to be like Dwayne Eddy. Probably don't remember him, do you? You do, don't you?
Peter Gunn.
Yeah. And so he was bored, so he gave it up. So then he wanted drums. My mum and dad bought him drums one Christmas when he was about 12, 13. And he had a few drum lessons and I don't know anything about drums or anything, but he sounded good, you know. And he said, "Well, really, I want to be in a band." But he was exceptionally good at football, and it looked as if things were going to happen for him. And all of a sudden he said, "I know some lads that have formed this band and they come to see me." Were they All Saints doing the rehearsal?
The school on the main road here, they pulled it down now. But they went in All
because that was
Saints
Gary's old school.
rehearsing.
And all the other lads there. school and he went and they said, yeah, well, I thought, oh, God. But I mean, he was never going to go on to college or anything because he hated school and he hated the system.
Still does, doesn't he?
He should have been a politician.
Yeah.
Really, Gary. And I'm quite serious about that.
Yeah, but then there might not have been any Mondays.
No.
But there'd have been no Mondays. So the best thing, I was just going to say that, the best thing he ever did, and it kept him on the straight and narrow. I'm not saying that he would have ended up. Well, we don't know. We don't know with any of the lads how they'd have ended up. I think it was a godsend, the Mondays, don't you?
Yeah.
And Derek was so wonderful with them. And I think it was a good thing, a very, very good thing. And, you know, the first time I heard them, I thought they were really good. And they went to community centre,
Yeah.
didn't they, and did some there.
Yes.
I thought they were good because me and Ken were really into music. So I was quite surprised. I thought, oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, our friend run a youth club at the community centre, and they
Yeah.
got them the first gig
Yeah.
at Wardley
Yes, they
Wardley
did.
Community Centre. But if we'd have gone to Cornwall, there'd have been no Mondays. We had house and everything.
Yeah.
Derek had a transfer and a job.
A lot was
in
to do
Cornwall.
with Derek, you know. It was Derek, wasn't it, Linda, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was great when they met Tony Wilson, obviously, we know that. But Derek was, wasn't he? Really good, yeah.
Do you remember when the boys were on Top of the Pops?
Oh, we're all in front of the telly, glued to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where were you, Sandra?
I was at home watching, well, we were all watching, didn't we? But I remember my mum and dad came round
Yeah.
as well, and we were all dead thrilled, you know. And my mum was over the moon because she always wanted to be in show business. She used to sing in the pubs, you know, and she always wanted to be in show business anyhow. But it was just, it was so thrilling. And I thought, well, you know, really. And they have worked hard. I mean, I know they've been down, but they worked hard.
They never wanted to be famous.
No,
They
no,
just wanted to be
Yeah.
an indie band.
Yeah.
They never wanted
Yeah.
to be famous.
Yeah.
They just wanted to do it for enjoyment and
Yeah.
be an indie band.
Yeah.
And then they did get famous.
How
Yeah.
does it feel being the mothers of these successful musicians?
I've always played it down.
Well, I do, and I never say who do you?
No.
I never.
And people, when they know the name
Yeah.
Ryder, they
Yeah.
always say, oh,
Yeah.
are you any relation? And then I'll say,
Yeah.
well, yeah. Well, what relation? I'll say, well, I'm the mother.
Yeah, I've never sort of pushed it or anything. People know, obviously, but I don't.
Yeah.
No.
Do you feel like
no.
do you feel like they might have attracted friends who they might otherwise not have had because they were in a band and they were famous? Do you think people exploited
Well,
that?
I
But
don't-
not your lot.
Gary hasn't, because his friends are from when he was a little boy. And
They all went
followed
to
them,
school
and
together.
didn't they?
Mhm. The Wardley gang,
Yeah,
they called
yeah,
them at the
yeah.
at the gigs.
Yeah, like
All
Kingo
from
and all
around
that,
here.
you know. I
Mm.
mean, Kingo,
Mm.
I adore him. You know, he's the barber from Swindon.
Mm.
And yeah, they're all from
Especially,
school,
I think,
aren't they?
yeah, and I mean, a lot of Paul's friends as well. But
yeah,
especially,
Paul's friends are genuine.
I mean,
yeah,
especially with Shaun, I think a lot of them.
Oh yeah, I mean the backstage in those early gigs.
Well,
was
I think,
Oh.
you see, I think that is terrible. When we used to go backstage, you know, because like when Gary's sister and brother, and like,
Yeah.
you know,
Mm.
obviously, you used to come backstage and that, and we went backstage, and there were people there, and you used to think, what are you doing here? What the hell? Which has nothing to do with me. But I'm not the best patient person in the world, am I?
Not like me.
No, she's very patient, but I'm not. And I used to think, what the hell are you doing here? You know, how dare you?
Drinking all the Ryder.
Drinking all the best drinks, and especially my rum,
Mm.
which I didn't like. No, you know what I mean? There is a lot of hangers on who aren't genuine. As you know, Angela, you know that.
Yeah.
And I just say, Angela, your Paul, I mean, we loved him to bits, me and Ken. We really, really loved him, like another son, obviously. And he was so lovely, lovely. I mean, he was Gary's best friend.
Mm.
And Gary still goes on about him all the time. You
Oh,
know.
Gary is still gutted, isn't
Oh,
he?
he's gutted, absolutely. And you know, he rings me about three, because you know he lives in Canada. He rings me about 3 times a week, you know, with a video call, and he always says to me, "Is Linda all right? He always says that to me. He does, yeah. Yeah.
Do you think being in a band changed them? Like, let's talk about Paul first, but also Shaun and Gary. Do you think things would have been different with Paul's trajectory of his life if he hadn't been in the Mondays? And do you think it caused some of his problems, or do you think those problems would have come anyway?
No.
Well, you're his mum. Go on.
No, I don't. It was always, how can I say? He was never confident. He was always, Veronica used to say, as a young child, the trouble with your Paul, he just does enough to keep his head. He was a very clever lad, but she said he just does enough to keep his head above the water. It's the most frustrating child I've ever taught. That's what she used to say. Because it all boils down, he has no confidence in himself. He always lacked confidence.
But then when it came to the band, he was completely dedicated, wasn't he?
How he could get up on stage. Man, he did suffer terrible from nerves. Terrible from nerves. You know,
I don't think he was appreciated though, Linda, how good he was.
No.
I don't think it was, you know, I don't think he was appreciated.
Oh, he'd be sick, he'd be running to the loo.
Yeah.
His nerves was absolutely terrible.
Do you think being in the band caused problems for him?
He always felt inadequate to Shaun.
But
He
why,
really,
Linda?
I don't know.
He was
because
more
he lacked,
gifted
he
and
lacked
everything.
confidence.
But he was so gifted, wasn't he, with his music, Paul? And why should he have felt like that?
I don't know. But he was always a worrier. You know, instead of bawling and shouting, if something annoyed him, it'd take a lot. Man, I suppose he's like me in a way. It takes a lot for him to explode and
you're very patient, aren't you? Yeah,
bawl and shout.
I could shake Linda sometimes and say, right, stop it, you know, because I wish I was a bit like that. Not as much as Linda, because you are very, very. It's good. It's a nice thing, I suppose.
I suppose it's my job, but I've had to be patient.
Yeah, but I had to be patient, didn't it? My job, but I don't know what it is, Linda. I mean, it's lovely. I mean, I'm not knocking you by any means.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not, because I'm saying I wish I could be more like you, really. Because I go in, woof, and then I think, why did you do that? Why did you do it?
You said to me, I say what I think. And I said to you, I think what before I say it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Linda does think, I don't think. And I go, woof, and then I think, I shouldn't have done that.
And what about Gary? Do you think the band, being in the band, changed Gary in a negative way or not? It doesn't seem to have.
Yeah, I think it did in some ways. Yeah, I think he enjoyed being in the band. Obviously, he doesn't like the limelight or anything, as you probably know.
Well, that's why neither him or Paul would do interviews.
I know, and aren't they silly? Because really, they could have.
But that's why Beth stepped in with Shaun and said, well, I'll do him.
So did they just not want to do interviews?
They were shy, weren't they?
Yeah, they didn't want it, They didn't like the publicity
Didn't
or
like-
anything.
No.
I think in later years, though, it was annoying to them because...
But a lot of it was their own fault, but it must have been annoying because they must have thought, we're doing a lot of the writing, we're doing the music, and hang on, what's happening here? But a lot of it was their own fault because they should have pushed themselves, shouldn't they?
And they didn't.
That's right. Yeah.
What about when the records started coming out? How did you feel then? At what point did you think, oh, they're really going to make it and they're going to be a success?
I always went out and they could never understand this. What are you doing that for? We've got a box full in the living room, but I always went to the shop and bought one.
Yeah.
Always, always went to the shop and bought one.
Yeah.
And did you, when you bought the record, would you tell them that it was your sons in the band?
No. They did look at me a bit strange when I used to go.
Yeah. This old day fashion who's a rocker.
when 24-hour party people came out.
Yeah.
And we went to the print works to see it. there was all these younger people, and there's me and Derek when the lights came up at the end and we stood up, these two oldies.
Yeah.
And then 2 rows in front of us was my doctor and his wife, because their doctor was a friend of Belinda who went out with Paul Davies for years. So they'd gone to see it.
Yeah.
We'd gone to see it, and we all went, oh, hello. And all these young people was looking at us as if we'd got 3 heads.
There's been a lot of lies written in the press about the Mondays generally. Is there anything in particular that really annoyed you that you want to put right?
My attitude and the way I got through it was people who know me, people who know the family, know it's a load of rubbish.
Yeah.
You know, because they always got a shock, people, when they met me and didn't, oh, are you their mother? You know, it was a real shock. Oh, I can't, you know, they were in awe and couldn't believe that I was the mother.
Why could they not believe
Because
that?
of all the publicity and the stories, and yet the way I spoke to people and what have you. I mean, when you think of all the stories Shaun put out.
Well, yeah.
How did you feel when the first time that they broke up?
I was very angry.
Yeah.
Was you?
Very
Very
angry.
angry.
I thought, what an idiot.
Yes.
You know, what an
Yeah.
idiot
Yeah.
throwing all this
Yeah.
away.
Yeah. But people that knew the band and knew the lads, apart from the band, agreed. They said, what idiots, what has gone on there?
And did you think that that'd be the end of it?
No, I didn't, funnily enough. Did you, Linda, or what? I didn't, I didn't think it'd be the end, that.
I don't know what to think.
You see, I was upset because of Derek. I thought Derek had sold his soul for that band. That's what hurt me. That really hurt me. So I don't know how you must have felt, obviously.
Oh heck, we're running a bit late. That'll be Pete probably.
Well, you've got 5 minutes to kick off.
Oh heck, can you come back next Wednesday?
Well, I'll make sure I can, yeah. Make sure to, because
Well, Wednesday night used to always be our night,
Yeah,
didn't
that's
it?
funny, that, yeah.
Well, while you're the nearest, can you just close? Oh, no, you can't, can you? I was going to ask you just to close the blind for
Can
me,
I
but...
close them?
I got it.
No, they're there. I was going to say, will you close the blind there?
Did you hear that? You're the nearest to the blind. There's no hope whatsoever. I've tried, but there's no hope with her. She thinks that you're nearest to the blind. You see, this is why I have to put up with Angela. That's why I drink.
Don't make me the excuse, Sam.
So I'll see you next Wednesday then, Sandra.
Okay, Angela, yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you. So Linda asking me to close the blinds was funny because I was actually on the end of an iPad rather than sitting opposite her in the room, but she becomes so engrossed in the interview I think she'd forgotten. Bless her, she's brilliant. I love her so much. There is more coming up from the Rock and Roll Mums as the weeks unfold. Plenty more gems, anecdotes and stories from them. Next week, our special bonus episode will feature none other than the legend himself, the amazing, the fantastic Bez. So really do not miss that one. It is really full of hilarious stories. And if you want to hear it right now in podcast form, go to any of the podcast platforms. It literally is just dropped now. So we're playing out with one of my favourite big arm tracks. It's called Electroglide from the album Radiator, which is out now. Please become a patron of our show and help keep these episodes coming. Go to patreon.com/the Paul Ryder tapes. And if you can't afford to actually sponsor us, just sign up anyway and become a member of our special private members club. Okay, go to the website, which is paulryder.tv. There you'll find links to our socials and also to our shop that has some really fab merch. Have a fantastic week and thank you again so much for being here. Love to you all, and love and big thanks of course goes to Linda and Sandra and of course the star of the show, Paul Ryder. We'll see you again next week. Thanks for being here. Love you. Bye.
Do you think I
do wanna leave you. I'm coming charging to rescue you. Electric light, dressed all in blue. I'm coming for ya on my stallion. I'm coming charging to rescue you. To rescue you. To rescue you.